Hello, everyone, and welcome to another special episode of Immigration in Focus. This is a part two for the ICE and death count. I'm Maria Aguila, an immigration attorney based in Jacksonville, Florida. 3 deaths in 1 week. Why? Well, ICE traffic stops and immigrants, that's why. Just yesterday, multiple news outlets reported that the Department of Homeland Security instructed ICE officers to temporarily stop conducting most vehicle or traffic stops after two fatal officer involved shootings in Maine and Houston. However, within hours, President Donald Trump posted on social media that he did not want ICE to stop using traffic stops, calling them one of ICE's most effective, most important law enforcement tools. Later reports indicated that the temporary pause was reversed following the president's intervention. Many immigrants are now asking, can ICE stop me while I'm driving? What should I do if I'm pulled over? Should I even be driving? Today, we'll answer those questions. What happened? Reports indicate that ICE leadership temporarily suspended most vehicle stops after two recent fatal shootings involving ICE officers. One incident occurred in Houston, another occurred in Maine. Then, just 1 day later, tragedy struck right here in Northeast Florida, where I am, when a man fleeing immigration agents in St. Johns County was struck and killed by a tractor trailer while crossing a highway after running from officers during an enforcement operation. According to the Florida Highway Patrol, the man ran into traffic after agents approached a group at a gas station. Almost immediately afterwards, President Trump publicly criticized the pause and stated on social media that ICE officers should continue conducting traffic stops because he believes they are the most important and effective crime fighting tool. News reports later indicated the pause was reversed. These incidents have renewed questions about these aggressive enforcement tactics and officer and public safety. Regardless of your political views, every loss of life is tragic. So, why is this significant? Well, traffic stops are one of the most common interactions people have with law enforcement. Unlike executing a warrant at a home or conducting a workplace operation, traffic stops happen unexpectedly. A broken taillight, speeding, expired registration, failure to signal. Something as minor as these violations can place someone in contact with law enforcement. Although local police generally enforce traffic laws, immigration consequences may arise if ICE is involved or if information is shared with federal authorities under certain circumstances. This is why every immigrant, regardless of immigration status, should understand their rights. What does this mean for immigrants? First, do not panic. There has been no announcement ending immigration enforcement. ICE continues to conduct arrests and enforcing immigration laws throughout the country. Policies can change quickly, and today's policy may not be tomorrow's policy. The most important thing is to be prepared rather than fearful. Practical safety tips. So, if you're driving, make sure your driver's license is valid if your state permits you to obtain one. Keep your registration current. Carry your proof of insurance. Repair any broken lights. Avoid speeding. Use your turn signals. Wear your seatbelt. Never drive under the influence. In short, these simple traffic violations often create unnecessary interactions with law enforcement. Now, of course, that assumes that ICE is complying with laws and not just racial profiling or chasing after the wrong individual. And that is exactly what has happened, as far as we know, with the incident in Maine. If ICE or police stop your vehicle, and if this can save a life, here it is. Remain calm. Do not flee. Do not accelerate. Do not run into traffic. Do not physically resist. Keep both hands visible and follow lawful commands. Hopefully, they are lawful commands. If asked about your immigration status, remember that you have constitutional rights. You generally have the right to remain silent and the right to speak with an attorney before answering questions. The exercise of those rights should be respectful and non confrontational. Running from officers can create enormous safety risks. Unfortunately, recent events demonstrate just how dangerous fear and panic can become. Should immigrants still drive is the next question. That depends on your circumstances. If you are legally authorized to drive in your state, continue following the law. If you do not have driving privileges, understand that driving without a license clearly carries risks that extend beyond receiving a traffic citation. Every person's case is different. If you are in removal proceedings or have a prior removal order, you should discuss your situation with an immigration attorney. And please don't rely on rumors. Social media spreads information incredibly fast, and unfortunately, it can also spread misinformation. Some posts claim ICE has stopped all enforcement. That is not true. Others claim ICE can stop anyone, anywhere, for any reason. That is also not true. That is clearly a oversimplification. Immigration laws and U.S. constitutional laws are complex. Always verify information from reliable sources or consult an experienced attorney. This week's events remind us how quickly immigration policy and how quickly situations can escalate. And sadly, that results in the deaths of many immigrants and individuals, and even including U.S. citizens. One day, there's a reported suspension of ICE traffic stops. Then the next day, the president publicly opposes that suspensions, and reports indicate the policy was reversed. Meanwhile, families in Maine, Texas, here in Florida are grieving tragic losses. No matter where someone stands politically, we should all agree that public safety does matter, accountability matters, and every human life has value. For immigrants, the best protection is preparation. Know your rights, obey traffic laws, keep your documents organized, develop an emergency family plan. And if you have concerns about your immigration status, seek legal advice before an emergency happens. Thank you for joining me today for another special episode of Immigration in Focus. If you need assistance with your case, my office is here to help. I'm Maria Aguila, my office located in Jacksonville, Florida, with satellite offices in Orlando and Tampa. You may reach me at 904-385-9377. Thank you for listening. Stay hopeful, and I'll see you next time on Immigration in Focus.